Have you ever found yourself wishing you could instantly know, like with absolute certainty, if a package really arrived? Or, what the weather was like at some precise moment in the past? Or even if someone was actually physically there?
Yeah, that kind of verifiable truth. It's a common frustration.
Exactly. And it's that desire for, verifiable truth in the physical world that brings us to today's deep dive.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how the XYO network is stepping in to address that exact challenge.
Right.
They're trying to bridge that gap, between the physical and the digital worlds. They're creating what they call a reality oracle.
A reality oracle. Okay, interesting. So today we're diving into a collection of sources to really understand exactly how XYO works and, frankly, why it's making waves in the Web3 space right now.
Yeah.
Our material includes an interview with XYO's co-founder, Marcus Levin, some recent company updates, and analyses from various crypto publications, BlockDAG, Bitunix, Mudrex Learn, Changelly, quite a few.
So our mission really is to help you quickly grasp the essence of this geospatial blockchain technology.
Okay.
And the specific ways XYO collects, verifies, and ultimately sort of commodifies real-world data.
Right.
We'll be highlighting its unique approach to digital location tech and, its role in this whole broader dip-in narrative that's emerging.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So let's start with the basics, the foundational concept.
Okay.
When we talk about geospatial location networks, what exactly are we referring to, and how does XYO specifically define itself in that space?
Well, XYO positions itself not just as like a location network, they call it a reality oracle, or sometimes a consensus engine for real-world data. Okay. It goes way beyond simple GPS coordinates.
Oh, so.
It gathers what they call eyewitness details. So things like who was or wasn't present at a specific time and location.
Okay.
The weather conditions, maybe a shop's current opening hours, or even super granular stuff like the average rating of fries from a local restaurant.
Fries ratings, seriously.
Yeah, potentially. The core idea is to collect and commodify virtually any verifiable data about any place with internet coverage.
Right.
Which partners can then use to, build strategic insights, make better decisions.
That's a really powerful concept, this reality oracle. It immediately makes me wonder, though, on a practical level, how? How do they actually collect all this diverse real-world data? How does this oracle truly work?
Okay, so essentially the XYO network relies on individual nodes. And these are often devices you already have, like your smartphone, your tablet, laptop, smartwatch.
Things we carry every day.
Exactly. These devices collect both location and what they call heuristic data.
Heuristic data? What's that?
It's like context, temperature, motion, maybe even ambient light levels. Stuff that adds richness to just knowing where something is.
Okay, so it's more than just dots on a map.
Right. This collected data then gets organized, analyzed, processed. It becomes valuable, verifiable information that third parties can use. And since almost everyone carries a potential node in their pocket, the potential for generating this data decentrally is, it's immense.
The promise of decentralization is definitely huge, but it's never straightforward, is it?
No, definitely not.
So what are some of the actual real-world advantages that decentralized geospatial networks like XYO offer compared to, say, the traditional centralized ways of doing things?
Well, the key advantage is the decentralization. Traditional models, they centralize the data, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, they kind of commodify the participants, the users, while keeping the data itself proprietary, locked up.
Right, you're the product.
Exactly. XYO flips that. They crowdsource the data, but they also deeply incentivize its collection.
Ah, okay.
They commodify the data itself, and they directly reward the individuals who contribute it using their own devices. They actually value the people in the network.
So users get paid, essentially, for contributing.
Yeah, rewarded for volunteering their information. We've even seen, users of their gamified app, 2IN. Some develop pretty successful side hustles just from participating actively.
A side hustle from walking around. Interesting. But what about the challenges? I mean, building a truly decentralized network must have thrown up some hurdles.
Oh, absolutely. Managing a truly decentralized network means building incredibly robust consensus mechanisms.
Right.
You have to ensure data integrity across potentially millions of independent nodes. That's no small technical feat.
Yeah. I can imagine. So with all this crowdsourced data flying around, the critical question becomes security, right?
Trust.
How does XYO make sure this information is secure and tamper-proof? What's the tech underneath that guarantees that trust?
Well, it helps that XYO's parent company, XY Labs, actually started as an IoT company way back in 2012.
Oh, before crypto was big.
Yeah, exactly. They were already working on efficient data collection using things like BLE, Bluetooth, low energy. Then they saw the potential of integrating blockchain to make geospatial data not just accessible, but truly verifiable, immutable.
So blockchain was the missing piece for trust.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the XYO token, which is an ERC20 token on Ethereum, is central to this. It's like the network's currency, used for all data transactions. And crucially, it's how they pay their data contributors, those nodes we talked about.
Okay, that gives us the why and some of the how. Now let's pull back the curtain a bit more. The actual architecture,
Right.
What that makes this reality oracle function. What are the specific pieces, the components?
So the XYO network, this reality oracle, it's built on 4 key components. Each one has a specific job.
Okay, 4 parts.
First, there's the Sentinel. Think of your smartphone or maybe a dedicated little hardware device they offer, a Sentinel X.
Got it.
It acts as a data point, broadcasting its location, and maybe other sensor data. Now, when 2 Sentinels detect each other and they broadcast that proximity, that closeness, it creates something called a bound witness interaction.
Bound witness interaction. Sounds technical.
It is, but it's basically cryptographically strong proof that they were near each other at that time. Proof of location.
Okay, proof. Then what?
Next is the bridge. This also can be your phone or dedicated hardware. The bridge finds these bound witness interactions and digitally signs them, like putting a stamp of approval, confirming the interaction happened.
Signed and verified. Okay. Component 3.
That's the archivist. Think of it as a decentralized database. It stores all these confirmed, signed, bound witness interactions.
The record keeper.
Exactly. And finally, number 4 is the diviner. The diviner is the node that actually answers questions by querying all that stored, verified data in the archivist.
So that's how the oracle gives answers.
Precisely. It provides the answers to those reality oracle questions based on the verified chain of data.
That sounds like a really structured chain of custody for the data. It seems robust.
It's designed to be.
But how does the network ensure the accuracy and maybe more importantly, the immutability of that data once it's in the system? What's their consensus mechanism for validating these real-world events?
Right, consensus. So within XYO, consensus relies on these devices detecting and crucially independently reporting on each other.
Okay.
And then cross-verifying those reports.
Huh.
The more devices witness an event, the stronger, the more immutable the data becomes.
Safety in numbers, kind of?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
And to ensure accuracy and prevent, fraud or spoofing, they use something called proof of origin.
Proof of origin.
It's basically a set of zero-knowledge proofs. These assign an origin chain score to the data, creating that cryptographically confirmed chain of bound witness interactions we talked about.
Zero-knowledge proofs. Okay. That adds a layer of privacy too, doesn't it?
It can, yes. And they also use something called transient key chaining.
Transient key chaining.
Yeah, it securely links the bridge to the archivist and then the archivist to the diviner in a way that uses temporary keys.
So it's harder to fake?
Exactly. It makes it virtually impossible to falsify the origin of the data later on. It tackles common problems like GPS spoofing, or even if someone managed to steal a device's private key.
Okay, that sounds pretty sophisticated. It addresses some big security concerns.
They've definitely thought about the attack sectors.
Now, if we zoom out again, connect this to the bigger picture. XYO operates in this space called DePIN, right? Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks.
DePIN, that's a hot topic.
For those who might be new to the term, what exactly is DePIN and how does XYO fit into that whole story?
So DePIN basically refers to blockchain-based networks that use real-world hardware devices, sensors, routers, phones, whatever.
Physical stuff.
Physical stuff, yeah, to collect and validate data. They're effectively bridging the gap between our physical world and the blockchain.
Can you give an example?
Sure, think of a logistics company tracking shipments. With DePIN, they could have tamper-proof data recorded at every single point in the journey, direct from sensors.
Providing real transparency.
Exactly, transparency and trust. Now, XYO is explicitly focused on being the leader in this DePIN niche. Their core goal is enabling what they call digital sovereignty.
Digital sovereignty.
Yeah, the idea that the data you create with your devices stays fully under your control rather than being owned and monetized solely by some big centralized company.
That's a powerful idea. Control over your own data.
It's central to the Web3 ethos, really.
Speaking of evolution and staying ahead, there's been a pretty significant recent development for XYO, hasn't there?
Yes, a big one.
They launched their own Layer 1 blockchain earlier this year. What's the significance of that move and this new dual token system?
Yeah, that was back in February 2025. They launched XYO Layer 1. It's specifically engineered for data-heavy applications like AI and, of course, DAPIN.
Built for purpose.
Exactly. It's designed for serious efficiency and scalability. It allows multiple blockchains to run concurrently but share a single ledger.
Okay, faster and more capable. And the tokens.
Right. The dual token system is crucial. The original XYO token, the ERC21, is now primarily for governance, letting the community vote, and for staking, securing the network.
Okay. And the new one?
That's XL Launers. It's the new utility token native to Layer 1. It handles all the transaction fees, the gas, smart contract execution.
Operational stuff.
Yeah, and also the user rewards on this new Layer 1 network. It streamlines things and incentivizes activity directly on their own chain.
That's a huge step, moving to their own Layer 1. So what does this all mean for you listening? As a potential participant or user,
Right, the user benefit.
how do individuals actually benefit from contributing to this network? Especially given, as you hinted, some features might still be more theoretical or under development.
Well, a primary benefit, and one that's quite tangible now, comes through their gamified app, COAM.
The Side Hustle app?
Yeah, that one. It facilitates what they call geomining XYO tokens.
Geomining.
Basically, by just having the app and interacting with nearby XYO sentinels, or even just verifying your location, users collect tokens. These tokens can then be traded on exchanges, or potentially used for transactions within the ecosystem. The app even has fun stuff like Easter egg assets you can find, and you can geodrop tokens for other nearby users.
So it makes data collection kind of engaging.
Exactly. It turns it into a bit of a game.
Yeah.
And this gamification really incentivizes participation and helps expand the network's edge nodes, all those user devices.
Right. And beyond the Coin app.
Beyond that, developers can now build what XYO calls geodApps.
GeoDApps. Like dApps, but location aware.
Precisely. Geo-based, decentralized applications that plug directly into the XYO network. This allows smart contracts to actually interact with the physical world.
Wow.
Almost like the real world is an API, they can call it. It's a really exciting frontier. But as you said, it's fair to acknowledge some of these more advanced GeoDApp functionalities are still in active development or the theoretical stage.
It's early days for some of that, but the potential is clear. Okay, looking ahead then. XYO's vision seems to involve playing a pretty integral role in, well, the future of the metaverse. What does that really mean for them in the next decade? Especially as our physical and digital worlds seem to be blending more and more.
Yeah, their vision for the next decade is, it's definitely ambitious. It suggests a fundamental shift.
More than just GPS for the metaverse.
Oh yeah, much more. Think of it less as navigation and more as building the foundational layer for digital truth in mixed reality.
Digital truth.
Where the immutability of real-world events, like a package delivery scan or an environmental reading from a sensor, becomes as verifiable and trustworthy as a blockchain transaction itself.
I see. Bringing blockchain-level certainty to physical events.
Exactly. They believe blockchain's ability to make data permanent and chained is key to streamlining all sorts of error-prone processes.
Yeah.
Think healthcare, travel, e-commerce, insurance, security.
Lots of industries.
Huge potential impact. And they've already forged some strong partnerships with major players, Chainlink, Microsoft.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes about the perceived potential.
Partnerships are key. What about the tokens history? Has it been a smooth ride?
Smooth? Not exactly welcome to crypto.
Right.
Historically, the XYO token has seen significant market volatility. It surged massively, reaching nearly $1 billion market cap back in the 2021 bull run.
Wow, $1 billion.
Then experienced some sharp declines, as many tokens did. More recently, it got a boost from that Layer 1 launch announcement.
So ups and downs.
Definitely. Yeah. If market cap has fluctuated quite a bit, which reflects the dynamic, high growth, but also high risk nature of this emerging tech. For anyone thinking about participating or building on XYO, understanding that historical volatility is really key, and realizing that widespread adoption of some of the most cutting-edge features will likely take time. It's a long game.
That's a really important perspective. Okay, so we've really unpacked the XYO network quite a bit today.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
From its innovative reality oracle concept and those profound advantages of decentralization to the specific tech components, sentinels, bridges, all that its place in the burgeoning DePIN landscape, and its pretty ambitious vision for the future.
Yeah.
You should now have a pretty solid understanding, hopefully, of how they aim to verify real-world data and bridge that critical physical-digital divide.
And this whole convergence of physical and digital data, it really raises an important question, I think, for all of us.
Oh.
As our physical world becomes increasingly blockchain aware, verifiably captured on chain, what new kinds of decentralized applications can you listening imagine? Applications that rely on truly verifiable real-world events.
That is a powerful thought to chew on. What new possibilities open up? What stands out to you as the most surprising or impactful aspect of XYO's approach after hearing all this?
Yep.
We really encourage you to reflect on the immense possibilities when real-world data can finally be trusted and acted upon by smart contracts. It could open up entirely new ways we interact and transact.